The Aboriginal civil rights history is complex but highly significant in fully understanding Australia's overall history. Each event, circumstance, legislation or movement must be heard and understood as it is essential to learn about how, over time, the Aboriginal rights were stripped and how over time these mistakes have been recognised, rectified and reconciled. In this talk, I'll focus on 3 significant events that are important in mapping the rights and freedom challenges posed by the Aboriginal people. Australia federating in 1901, Aboriginal rights to vote in 1962, and last but not least, the Bringing Them Home report in 1997. First up in the Aboriginal movements, I'm going to be talking about when Australia became a federation in the year 1901. But first, what is a federation? According to Google, a federation is a group of states with a central government but independence in internal affairs. So in other words, the different states in Australia all came together to join the federation and make one national government. So Australia becoming a federation meant that one government could affect all the people in the land, and the newly formed government didn't have Aboriginal rights in their mind. The Aboriginals were now not included in the census. This practically means the government didn't see them as people. Australia becoming a federation is the building block of all the rights stripped from the Aboriginals and slowly given back to them. The first law passed when Australia became a federation was the removal of Aboriginal kids from their homes and put into white family homes. This was also known as the Stolen Generation. This fractured and broke Aboriginal families and ruined all identity these Aboriginal children had. Next, I'm going to be talking about what happened in the year 1962, and this was when Aboriginals gained the right to vote. It wasn't until 1962, when the Electoral Act was amended, that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island peoples were given the right to register and vote, but voting was not compulsory. This is a huge step in the equity for Aboriginal people because they can now vote for laws and bills that affect them personally, instead of having to do everything the government tells them to without a choice. The right to vote is a very important right that all humans should have, no matter your race or gender. The Aboriginals finally being able to have this right is a step forward in freedoms, as they are now considered as human beings. This step in the Aboriginal rights made them seen as almost, if not equal, to the whites in the government's eyes. This means that a government has to look out for them and take care of them as much as they do their own. This was a stepping block to the Bringing Them Home report, which tries to make reparation for many inhumane things done to the Aborigines. And last but not least, I am going to be talking about the Bringing Them Home report. This can be argued as the most significant and defining act that has been used to repair and restore the freedoms and rights of Aboriginal people. In short, the Bringing Them Home report is a commission on the findings of the National Inquiry into the separation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders children from their families to the Commonwealth Government. All states and territories but the Northern Territory issues statements recognising and publicly apologising to the Stolen Generation. The Stolen Generation was a period of history between the mid-1800s to 1970s, when Aboriginal children were forcefully removed from their families and put into white families in hope to make them become white. The Bringing Them Home report could arguably be one of the most instrumental acts in repairing the wrongs of the past. The Stolen Generation was so deeply wounded by the acts of government institutions in ways that the Aboriginal people may never truly be repaired from. But this report has helped repair fractured families, brought about a sense of identity and purpose, and ensured that the Australian government institutions make reparations for their past mistakes, to ensure this will never happen again. Thank you, and I hope you learned something.